Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Today, in the control and coordination unit, we are going to study one of the major concepts on which the whole control and coordination is based. The concept is types of actions. We know that in the humans, there are different types of actions. Some are termed as voluntary actions, some are termed as involuntary actions, and apart from them, some are reflex actions. So we will understand each one of actions, types of actions. There are three major types of actions. Is reflex action, reflex action. Then we have involuntary actions, involuntary actions, and we have voluntary actions. Before understanding any type of action, we must understand the basic terminology. Comes out is the stimulus and response. Stimulus and response. We need to first understand this. What is stimulus and what is the response? Beta, whenever there is a change in the environmental condition, change in environmental condition, that may be internal or external. Wherever there is change in environmental condition, this is termed as stimulus. This is termed as stimulus. For example, if this is my hand, if I am touching this hand with some hot object, since I had previously normal temperature, normal body temperature, now due to the external stimulus or the external thing, the temperature of my hand got changed. This is called a stimulus. This is called a stimulus. Somebody pinched a nail or pricked a nail. It changes its environmental condition due to the pressure or due to the force. This is also called what? Stimulus. Stimulus. Now, the stimulus is simply the change in environmental condition. Change in environmental condition, whether internal or external. Now, what is the response? Response is basically the reaction to the stimulus. Are you getting? For example, there is a cockroach moving on. I am throwing light on it. When I throw light on it, this is stimulus. Now, how will the cockroach behave? Will it move towards the light or away from the light? This is response. So, reaction to the stimulus is called a response. Great. So, this is reaction to the stimulus. Reaction to the stimulus. Now, understand the basic funda. The basic funda is how the actions came into display. How they come into display, I will show you. See, for example, if I will take, come here, if I will take this student, if I will touch his hand here or apply a force or pinch something, what will happen? We have some receptors in our sense organs. We have some receptors. These receptors are called sensory receptors. These are called what? Sensory receptors. You understand? We have sense organs. In every sense organ, there is a sensory receptor. For example, in our nose, there are olfactory receptors. There are olfactory receptors. In our skin, there are thermoreceptors, tango receptors. Thermoreceptors and tango receptors. In our tongue, we have gustatoreceptors. Which receptors? Gustatoreceptors. In ears, we have phonoreceptors. And in eyes, we have photoreceptors. For example, this is the hand of, what's your name? Umar. And when I am touching this with something hot or I am pushing a nail into the skin, there are sensory receptors in it. There are sensory receptors. And this is skin, and which type of receptors are in the skin? Sensory receptors. Which type of sensory receptors? Thermoreceptors. Okay. Now, the thermoreceptors, I am pushing. I am putting what? Stimulus. I am giving stimulus when I am pushing something on it. What will happen? There are sensory receptors, they will collect the information, and information is given by stimulus. When they will collect the information, the sensory neurons will take that impulse. The sensory neurons will take that information towards the central nervous system. Are you getting my point? What is the point? Point is that the sensory receptors are taking this impulse, this stimulus towards the central nervous system, and our central nervous system is composed of spinal cord and brain. Spinal cord and brain. Now understand the basic thing. This is not reflex action. This is basic thing. Now what will happen when it reaches the spinal cord? From the spinal cord, the information will be transmitted towards the brain. The information will be transmitted towards the brain. When information goes to the brain, it is interpreted in the brain and is converted into motor neurons. Shabash, is converted into motor. There are some connector neurons or relaying neurons which convert this information that is going towards the spinal cord into what? Into motor neurons. Now the motor neurons will come back towards the site, and there will be the change of gland or the effector at that very much site, and he will take his hand back. This is common. This is general how our nervous system works. But what is reflex action? Now see here, reflex action was discovered by Marshall Hall. It was discovered by Marshall Hall in 1813. It is a spontaneous, automatic, mechanical response. Repeat with me. It is a spontaneous, automatic, and mechanical response to the stimulus. And mechanical response to the stimulus. Mechanical response to the stimulus without the involvement of brain. This is the most important point. Without the involvement of brain. See, for example, again Uzair is there. I am doing this. Why he blinked his eyes? Due to the reflex action. What happens in reflex action generally? The whole process, just we did with Uzair. Now we need to skip one thing. The neurons will take the stimulus towards the central nervous system. So we are in the central nervous system. We have spinal cord, we have brain. In the spinal cord says to brain, there can be much harm to the person because something is coming into his eye. There can be much more harm to the person because a hard object is being touched by the person. It can cause much damage. Let me do this. Spinal cord converts the sensory neurons into motor neurons by itself without the involvement of brain. There is no involvement except for the memory. Except for the memory, there is no involvement of the brain. Now what happens? When it comes, it converts the sensory information into motor information or motor neurons, and the information comes back towards the site where the gland is or the muscle is, and we take the muscle back. This is called a reflex action. For example, you are sleeping and you accidentally put your foot in kangdi or in fire pot. What will happen? You take it out quickly. There is no involvement of brain. If there is the involvement of brain, it will consume time. In order to save that time, spinal cord does the whole work. Okay? This is the first reflex action. Next we have involuntary action and voluntary action. You miss it. Actions, as the name suggests, as the word suggests, depicts that there is no will of animal in it. We have no will in it. There is no choice for us to do it. For example, a regular beating of the heart. What we can do about it? Nothing. If such would have been the case, people will do suicide by stopping their heartbeat. That's not the case. Blood pressure. Okay? That is involuntary. And the last one is voluntary action that are controlled by the animal. For example, I will give you a situation. If you are there outside and you saw a bear, ek balu hai, you saw a bear, the bear was approaching. When the bear was approaching, there will occur 2-3 things in your mind. The first thing that will occur is that you will start thinking, I should run away from here. So that will be the first thing. Second thing that might come in your mind, shall I call my friend? He might be saving me, or I may hide in his house or something. Or another thing that may come in your mind, that I should fight the bear. And I believe that you chose the first one. in your mind you chose the first one. Why? Because you have choices. You have to run away, the first choice. Call a friend is second choice, and third is what? You can fight. You have choices. You have to choose one. When you have choices for a particular stimulus, for a particular condition, this is called voluntary. This is called voluntary. Am I clear with this? This completes the types of actions. Now, yesterday I taught you basic things about control and coordination. Anisa, come forward and deliver something about the yesterday's lecture.
As you all know, I am Anisa Yusuf, your class fellow, and I am going to deliver a presentation on control and coordination. So, anybody here present who can tell me what is control? Anybody present here? Okay, Rueda.
Control means simply regulation of body activities.
Okay, thank you, Rueda. So, anybody here who can tell what is coordination?
Coordination means when our various different body parts come together in a systematic manner, so it produces proper stimuli, so it produces proper response to stimuli.
Okay, thank you, Fiza. So, as you all heard about this control and coordination, so as you all know that movements are the very effective and very important characteristics of a living being. So, first movements are of two types. They may be growth movements or they may be non-growth movements. Growth movements like germination of seeds, and non-growth movements like falling down of leaves. So, as already Mr. Showkat sir has told about you stimulus and response. Now we will further get information about control and coordination. So I will tell you an example. Example आप लीजिए कि मेरे अभी यहाँ पे कोई इंसान खड़ा है, उसने किसी दूसरे इंसान को थप्पड़ मारा. जो थप्पड़ है, अब उस इंसान का वहां से रिएक्शन वापस क्या होगा? अगर उसने उसको वापस थप्पड़ मारा तो मतलब ये स्टिमुलस का रिस्पॉन्स है वापस उस पर्सन के लिए. मतलब यही समझाया आपको सर ने कि व्हाट इज स्टिमुलस एंड रिस्पॉन्स. नाउ वी विल लर्न अबाउट टेक्सेस. टेक्सेस इज लाइक, जैसे आपको सर ने दिया एग्जांपल, एक हम एक टॉर्च लेंगे और एक कॉकरोच पे डालेंगे उसकी लाइट. जो वो कॉकरोच है, अगर उसने डिवेट हुआ अपने पाथ से, अगर वो अपने पाथ से डिवेट हुआ तो वो नेगेटिव कीमोटेक्सिस है. अगर अब वो कॉकरोच है वो उसी पाथ पे चला, मतलब वो डिवेट नहीं हुआ अपने पाथ से, तो वो पॉजिटिव कीमोटेक्सिस है. नाउ अगर हम पढ़ रहे हैं हम कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन, इसमें आता है हमारा न्यूरॉन. न्यूरॉन होता क्या है? एनीबॉडी हियर प्रेजेंट हु कैन टेल मी व्हाट इज न्यूरॉन? एनीबॉडी प्रेजेंट?
Basic structural unit of nervous system.
Yes, you are right. It's basic and structural unit of the nervous system, and it receives the impulses and transmits these impulses. So, first of all, I will draw a neuron, and then I will tell you the different parts of neuron, and then I will tell you the function of that neuron and what is the importance of a neuron in our body. In our body there are two systems, nervous system and endocrine system और hormonal system, और जिसको हम chemical system भी बोल सकते हैं. ये हमारा न्यूरॉन होता है. ओके, जो ये होता है इनको न्यूरॉन में डेंड्राइट्स कहते हैं, इसको सेल बॉडी कहते हैं. सेल बॉडी में प्रेजेंट होते हैं न्यूक्लियस, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, जो भी होता है, एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिक्यूलम. इसमें जो इसमें एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिक्यूलम होता है वो मॉडिफाइड फॉर्म में होता है, जिसको हम निसल्स ग्रेन्यूल्स कहते हैं, जो सिंथेसाइज करता है प्रोटीन्स को. यहाँ पे एक्सॉन हिलॉक होता है. जो ये एक्सॉन हिलॉक है ये करता है इस एक्सॉन और इस सेल बॉडी को आपस में ज्वाइन, मतलब जो इंफॉर्मेशन आती है, हम इंफॉर्मेशन आती है डेंड्राइट से, वो ये सेल बॉडी में पहुंच जाती है. जो ये सेल बॉडी है ये एम्प्लीफिकेशन का काम करती है. वी विल टेक एन एग्जांपल. आपको मैं एक एग्जांपल दूंगी, हमारे आसपास की आंटीज की एग्जांपल मैं आपको दूंगी। उनके पास अगर कोई बात पहुंचती है तो वो हमारे एनवायरनमेंट में, हमारे आसपास जो नेबर्स होते हैं, वो उसको, उस बात को बहुत बड़ा चढ़ा के पहुंचाते हैं आगे। तो इसके बाद जो ये सेल बॉडी है, यही एम्प्लीफिकेशन का काम करती है, यही इंफॉर्मेशन को आगे एक्सॉन हिलॉक तक पहुंचाती है, फिर एक्सॉन हिलॉक से सीधे एक्सॉन से पहुंच जाती है। इसको बोलते हैं, यहाँ पे जो ये गैप होती है, इसको नोड ऑफ रणवीर कहते हैं। फिर जब ये यहां तक पहुंच जाती है इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सॉन टर्मिनल तक, जो ये इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सॉन टर्मिनल तक पहुंच जाती है, इसके बाद यहाँ पे कुछ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स लगे होते हैं, वो केमिकल्स की फॉर्म में होते हैं। जो ये न्यूरॉन ट्रांसमीटर्स होते हैं, ये आयॉन्स के जैसे होते हैं। वी विल टेक एन एग्जांपल, मतलब ये हमारे एक्सॉन टर्मिनल है और नीचे एक डेंड्राइट है। जो ये डेंड्राइट है, जो एक्सॉन टर्मिनल है, इसमें न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स होते हैं आयॉन्स की फॉर्म में। जो ही यहाँ पे जब सिग्नल आती है, वो डिप्रेशन क्रिएट करती है। जो वो डिप्रेशन क्रिएट करती है, उसके बाद जो ये आयॉन्स है, इनका डिफ्यूजन हो जाता है। वहां पे डिफ्यूजन होते ही वो इंफॉर्मेशन, मतलब केमिकल्स के फॉर्म पे डेंड्राइट्स पे पड़ते हैं। जो वो इस दरमियान जो गैप होती है, उसको साइनेप्स बोलते हैं। और जो साइनेप्स, we will take an example like it's here axon terminal and it's here neuron, मतलब डेंड्राइट्स है यहाँ पे। जो ये है, इसको साइनेप्टिक नॉब बोलते हैं। इस गैप को बोलते हैं साइनेप्स। यहाँ पे आयॉन्स के फॉर्म में होते हैं, यहाँ से सिग्नल पास होती है, यहाँ पे एक डिप्रेशन क्रिएट होता है। जो ये डिप्रेशन क्रिएट होता है, यहाँ से डिफ्यूजन हो जाता है, ये यहाँ पे पड़ जाता है और इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ पहुंच जाती है वो, और इसी तरह आगे न्यूरॉन्स में होता रहता है। अब हम पढ़ेंगे, मतलब जो ये न्यूरॉन्स है, हमारे बॉडी में डिफरेंट टाइप के न्यूरॉन्स होते हैं। थैंक यू।